Your morning coffee contains hidden toxins. While companies promise a premium experience, independent laboratory testing reveals a disturbing reality. Invisible mold, heavy metals, and pesticide residues are quietly accumulating in your organs every single day. We are exposing 8 major coffee giants from Folgers to Starbucks, operating in a regulatory vacuum where contamination levels illegal in Europe are sold on every American grocery shelf. This includes Ochratoxin A, a potent mycotoxin, classified as a carcinogen that causes permanent kidney damage. These corporations aren't ignorant. They're simply betting you'll never look past the glossy packaging. I want you to pause and tell me in the comments what brand of coffee is currently sitting in your kitchen. Have you ever felt jittery or nauseous after just one cup and wondered if it was more than just the caffeine? Stick around until the end to see which brands actually test clean. But first, let's prove them wrong for banking on your silence. Our first offender, Folgers, America's bestseller built on a mountain of deception. The first brand we have to address is Folgers. For generations, that red plastic container has been a staple in American kitchens, but independent testing reveals a much grittier reality. Researchers found significant levels of Ochratoxin A in Folgers samples. This isn't just a fancy chemical name. It's a potent mycotoxin produced by mold that thrives on poorly handled beans. Here's the betrayal: because the U.S. has zero legal limits for this toxin in coffee, Folgers can sell contaminated product without consequence. For someone over 40, this is a critical issue. Ochratoxin A isn't flushed out easily. It concentrates in your kidney tissue, causing permanent cumulative damage over time. Folgers relies heavily on Robusta beans, which are cheaper, harsher, and naturally more prone to contamination than Arabica. They use high-temperature roasting to create a uniform taste, but that heat destroys the antioxidants you actually need. While concentrating the toxins, you don't. Go to your kitchen, open your container, and take a deep breath. Does it smell like fresh earth? Or does it have a flat, slightly chemical bitterness? That's the smell of industrial efficiency over human health. Stop buying for the brand and start looking at the purity. Moving forward, the industry's legacy of deception only gets deeper. Our second offender is Maxwell House, another household name that has promised for over a century that its coffee is good to the last drop. But lab results show it shares the exact same contamination problems as its competitors, just in a different colored container. Independent testing found Ochratoxin A in Maxwell House at levels that would be classified as illegal under European Union regulations. Why are we settling for lower standards in America? It's a direct slap in the face to consumers who expect safety. Beyond the mold testing detected residues of multiple pesticides, including chemicals banned in other developed nations but still used on the industrial plantations where these beans are sourced. They use aggressive roasting to hide defects in low-quality beans, essentially burning the evidence of mold and poor sorting. This process creates acrylamide, a probable human carcinogen that forms when organic materials are charred. Are you willing to trade your long-term cellular health for a $12 tub of convenience, I want to know? Did you realize that the legal safety standards for your coffee vary so wildly between continents? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments. It's time to stop paying for branding and start demanding cleaner beans. The third name in this lineup is Dunkin Donuts Coffee. Dunkin built a massive business on the experience of coffee and donuts, and their grocery store bags promise to bring that same feeling home. But laboratory analysis found concerning levels of Ochratoxin A here as well. The betrayal lies in the sourcing. Dunkin accepts beans that premium roasters would reject due to mold or poor quality. These aren't just trace amounts of chemicals either. Testing showed detectable levels of pesticides used in intensive industrial farming. Dunkin uses a blend heavy in Robusta beans to reduce costs, marketing it as a bold flavor. But in the industry, bold is often just code for harsh, bitter, and cheap. There's a physical sign of this poor quality. The packaging they use for ground coffee allows oxygen exposure that degrades the beans immediately. By the time you buy it, the coffee is already stale and oxidized. Former employees even report that the grocery store product is not the same as what's served in their shops. It's a lower-tier version designed to maximize profit margins. You're essentially drinking caffeine and contaminants without any of the health benefits. Go check your bag. If it's been sitting on your shelf for more than a few weeks, it's likely a cocktail of oxidation and mold. Coming in at number 4 is Starbucks packaged coffee. Starbucks is synonymous with premium coffee culture, but the Green Mermaid doesn't guarantee purity. Independent testing found Ochratoxin A in multiple Starbucks varieties sold in grocery stores. The premium pricing doesn't guarantee a cleaner cup. In fact, many people don't realize that the grocery store division often operates with different sourcing and quality standards than the actual cafes. Starbucks is famous for its dark roasting, which they call a signature roast. But dark roasting is a brilliant way to hide bean defects. When you roast a bean until it's nearly carbonized, you can't taste the original low-grade quality of the bean. All dark roasted coffee tastes similar once it's been nearly burned, but that charring comes at a cost higher levels of acrylamide. You are paying a premium price for higher exposure to harmful chemicals and lower-tier blended beans. Have you ever noticed that oily, almost burnt sheen on Starbucks beans? That's not a sign of quality, it's a mask. And this isn't just about one brand, it's about a systematic choice to prioritize flavor consistency over chemical safety. Now it's important to realize that the problem isn't just in the big three. Fifth on our list is 8 O'Clock Coffee. It markets itself as America's original gourmet coffee, but testing reveals it's just another mainstream brand with significant contamination issues. Lab reports found mycotoxins at levels that raise serious health concerns sourced from suppliers with varying and inconsistent quality standards. Despite their gourmet marketing, they use a blend of Arabica and Robusta to keep prices competitive. Pesticide testing revealed residues from conventional agriculture using chemical-intensive practices. The roasting is middle of the road, which means it doesn't preserve the flavor of light roasts, nor the bold mask of dark roast. It just leaves you with a mediocre, contaminated product in vintage packaging. It's a classic case of the appearance of tradition hiding a cost-focused production model. And this leads us to the most alarming part of the entire grocery aisle. This is the point where we have to look at the twist in the narrative. You might think these are just a few bad brands, but the truth is the entire American coffee system is designed to allow this. The industry isn't failing to be clean, it is succeeding at being profitable. Because there are no federal limits on mycotoxins, and coffee companies have no financial incentive to test their batches. They can buy the moldy, rejected beans from the international market at a discount and sell them to you at full price. The system isn't broken, it's working exactly as intended for the shareholders, while you provide the laboratory for their long-term health experiments. It's a calculation your kidney health versus their quarterly earnings. Moving to the 6th brand, we find Walmart's Great Value Coffee. This is the absolute bottom of the barrel. Laboratory testing found that Great Value contains some of the highest levels of Ochratoxin A detected in any brand on the market. These are the absolute cheapest beans available, sourced from suppliers with minimal quality control, where mold contamination is rampant. It's almost entirely Robusta with minimal Arabica content. The coffee tastes bitter and harsh because it's made from the lowest grade beans available, roasted by the lowest bidder. There is no quality standard here. Every decision is made to hit the absolute lowest price point. Testing showed that Great Value coffee has essentially zero antioxidant content. You are drinking caffeine, mold, and pesticides and nothing else. If you are using this to save money, you aren't saving anything, you're just paying for toxins in a cheaper can. Have you ever felt a jittery or nauseous feeling after a cup of store-brand coffee? That might not be the caffeine. It could be your body reacting to the mold. Finally, the 7th brand we must expose is McCafe, the retail version of McDonald's coffee. While the association with McDonald's creates expectations of consistency, lab analysis found Ochratoxin A at levels that would be restricted in countries with stricter regulations. The price requirements for McCafe mean accepting lower quality beans with higher contamination risks. Testing also detected pesticide residues that are actually banned in Europe but still used in the countries where these beans are grown. Similar to Dunkin, the grocery store version of McCafe is produced under license with lower standards than what you get at the restaurant. It also contains elevated acrylamide levels from an inconsistent roasting process designed for massive volumes. You're getting higher chemical exposure from a methodology that prioritizes speed over safety. After exposing all that contamination, you need to know which coffee brands you can actually trust. You don't have to give up your morning ritual, but you do need to change your filter. There are brands that prioritize transparency and health over profit margins. First, I recommend Purity Coffee. This brand is specifically formulated and tested to be free of mycotoxins and high in antioxidants. They don't just claim to be clean, they publish their results. Every batch is lab verified. It costs more, but you are paying for the measurable absence of poison. Another great choice is Bulletproof Coffee. They were pioneers in the clean coffee movement, testing all their beans for mycotoxins and rejecting any contaminated batches. They use only high-quality Arabica and maintain transparent standards. For a slightly more accessible option, Peak Performance Coffee also specifically tests for mycotoxins and heavy metals, and their organic certification provides a shield against pesticide residues. If you are on a budget, look for organic coffee from places like Trader Joe's or Costco. While not always perfect, organic certification means no synthetic pesticides, making it significantly cleaner than conventional mass-market brands. Also consider local roasters who source high-quality beans and roast in small batches. They generally use Arabica beans and gentler roasting that preserves the benefits of the coffee. At home, you can check your beans if they look excessively oily shriveled or have a strange sour smell before brewing. Those are red flags for poor processing and mold. Today, we've unmasked the giants that have been quietly compromising your health for the sake of their bottom line. Your daily coffee matters because these toxins accumulate with every sip. From the high mycotoxins in Great Value to the pesticide residues in Folgers and Maxwell House, the evidence is undeniable. The U.S. government isn't going to set limits for you, so you have to set them for yourself. Stop buying from brands that prioritize profit over purity. Seek out roasters who actually care about the quality of the bean. If this investigation opened your eyes, hit that subscribe button. We are here to give you the information these companies hope you never find. Go check your pantry tonight. If you've been drinking any of these brands, it's time to demand better for your body. What brand have you been drinking? Drop it in the comments. I want to know your experience. When we share our stories, we realize we aren't alone in being misled by a system that values cost over quality. Disclaimer: this content is for informational and educational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. The findings mentioned are based on independent laboratory reports and public records available at the time of production. Always consult with a healthcare professional regarding your diet and long-term health concerns. The investigator and this channel are not responsible for individual consumer choices or the specific manufacturing changes of brands mentioned.